and welcome back to another episode of Piping Up. Today we're here at St. Luke's Lutheran Church here in Ferndale, Pennsylvania. I'm here with Darlene Durns, the organist here. Darlene, thanks so much for having us here today.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit of background about you, because I know you're a pianist as well. I think you're mainly a pianist, but you kind of took up the trade of the organ a little bit for the church. Is that right?
This isn't my first church. I actually belong to a Durham church,
Okay.
Durham, Pennsylvania, and I've been playing for about 50 years. So,
Like a combination of both piano and organ, or?
yeah,
Okay,
I do the piano and the organ.
Okay. So this is kind of like, so you know the pedals,
Yes.
like when you're playing. Okay, so it's kind of like a little bit different than, we'll just say, the organist that played for us for many years. She was an excellent pianist, but she knew the pedals, but she didn't know them enough that she could confidently say that she could play with both feet.
Right.
But something like that, but you can do both at the same time.
I took organ lessons from Richard Van Auken. Did you ever hear of him?
I have, yes.
Yeah, from Bakertown. So
Okay, yes,
he
and
was
he's
very good.
Very good, yes.
Yes, he is.
So a little bit of, because you said you've been doing playing for like 50 or so years.
Yes.
What made you decide, what basically encouraged you to start playing the piano and then the organ as well?
I always thought about taking organ lessons, and then when there was a dire need for an organist in our church, that's when I finally actually started taking organ lessons.
Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like you eventually decided to do it because there was a need for it,
right.
for an organ.
Right.
So how long have you been playing this organ here?
About 24 years.
24 years.
Even more than that, let me see. We're in 24 now, so 32 years.
32 years. It's a long time.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So now is this the oldest organ you've ever played? Like you've played other ones from other churches, is that right? Or just piano?
No, I played at Durham too,
Okay.
where I still belong to that church.
Now is that a newer organ, or is that a little bit around the same age?
Well, they completely did it over again. So
Oh, okay, so it's completely
yeah,
done.
it's
Okay.
newer than
Okay.
the one that they have right now.
So now this organ has slightly over 700 pipes. You said they did some work on this a couple of years back. I think you said, right? Yeah.
About 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Do you know how many pipes were in the organ when they put it in? No?
I don't.
Okay. But you were here when they did that,
Yes.
when they put it in. So,
Yes, I did. I was.
Now, you mentioned, because they put more pipes in, did they do anything with the console? Like, did they upgrade anything with that?
No.
No? Okay, so it's the original, what it used to be when it was put in place here
Yeah.
in the organ.
Yeah, everything's the same.
Yeah.
Entirely the same.
This is a 1891 build. This has been here, I'm going to assume, probably since the beginning of the church, like since it has been here, I would assume.
I don't think it's.
Or maybe the church might be older.
Yeah.
The church is older.
I was going to
Okay.
look that up for you, and I forgot about it.
It's perfectly okay. So you had mentioned a little bit off camera that you like different types of music. What is your go-to type of music? Like if somebody said sit down, like they said, here, play something for us, what would your go-to music be?
Yeah, I just like hymns that are transferred into preludes or other kind of preludes like that, usually tied in with some type of music that you are familiar with. And I don't like classical music that much, which is kind of sad being a church organist. But
Which, a lot of organists would, there's some that are like you that don't prefer to play
I do
classical
some of
music.
it.
Yeah, do some, yeah. Some would rather stay as far away as possible from it. Others love it so much that it tends to be almost 90% or so of their music
Right.
repertoire.
I'm sure.
So it gets a little chaotic sometimes. Some people, I think that's kind of something that organists kind of tend to throw around. They're like, to be an organist, you must, or to, you have to do certain stuff. But I think it's not that I think you would play it, you just rather not play it, but
and
you
I
can
think
play
you have to love the music that you
Right,
play,
yeah.
or your
It
heart
just
isn't
doesn't,
in it.
it doesn't sound as good.
No.
Well, I'm inside the pipe chamber here at St. Luke's Lutheran here in Ferndale. In front of me here is part of the swell. It's all mechanical, so everything is done mechanically. Nothing is digital, so everything that is possibly here to play the pipe organ is right in front of me. This is the swell, so every single note that is on the swell keyboard is here in front of me. So how this works is when the organist plays a note, it sends chords down this way and eventually will pull, kind of like a piano, it pulls on these. And it pulls down these individual, I guess in a sense, they're like really pieces of balsa wood in a sense. They're all connected. And it goes up the top here, and I'm actually standing like right below the swell chamber here. And how it works is every single one of these is connected to a roller, and it continues to go out farther and farther until it's enough that it pulls on the top part here that eventually connects to each individual pipe and eventually plays it. And that's how a mechanical organ works. And this is a very old organ, so this is stuff that you don't see too much anymore. So I can play here or I can play here, and most of the time I'm pretty sure this is probably how some builders will check to make sure that they're working right. So we'll play a few notes here. And I can go all the way up to here, and I can play very low too, as low down to the swell. And that's how mechanical organ works. We didn't see too much of this. We saw a little bit of this, something like this, in the Durner organ at Pipersville, but we didn't get to see as much of this because it was mostly hidden. So this one's a little bit more out here to see. So this organ is quite old, and it's old enough that it has a pump. Just like the Durner organ, this is how the organ got air supply before a blower was installed, which is in the basement here. You said that for the anniversary of the organ, they had the original person that did this over to the church for it, right?
Right, when they installed the additional pipes, whenever that was a little bit later than the anniversary.
Okay.
They asked the man that last pumped the organ, he was in his 90s, to come back and pump, which he did. And then if the more stops you put on the organ, the harder it was for him to pump. And he was being very old, he was working as hard as he possibly could. And it sounded like a car that was stalling out because he couldn't keep up with it. It was really interesting. It's really funny.
Yeah. Now this one you had mentioned is not the original pump.
Right.
This is more of a showcase type one.
Just for display, to show how it worked years ago.
Yeah. But it can still.
But it works.
It still works. Yes.
Yes,
It's
it
just
does.
a new type of wood
Right.
and everything.